It's another vocabulary video here, almost and approximately. The many ways to express that in Norwegian. Of course, this is all Bokmål. There's no dialect here. And these are all synonyms of almost and approximately. They mean the same general thing, but yet they're slightly different. So, and I put them into sentences and look at them. That way it's more of an experience rather than just reading and trying to memorize these words one at a time. They seem to stick with me a little better. So this is an exercise that I do to help remember. And of course, I'm not trying to remember them all at once for some kind of test. I'm just learning about them. So here it is, nesten, almost. Blir nesten some, altogether. In this little phrase here means is almost like. And you want to watch out for these little phrases. These I do try to remember because they're very important. They come up over and over again. Here it is, just plain in a regular old sentence. Nesten. Nær 50%. Leser aviser på nettet. It means nearly, and if you see it used near butiker like that, it can mean local shops. It's used this way too. So omtrent, around, about. This is pretty straightforward. Omtrent. It's just another one. Nærmere. When I first learned this word, I learned it as closer. Litt nærmere. And but it also is used this way. I had no idea till I looked into this, and that's why I'm glad I do this kind of exercise, because there's that word I knew, but I didn't know you could use it this way. And down here, over here, anslagsvis. This is really more estimated, you know, anslå, to estimate. So it's used in that capacity. Bortimot, kind of virtually. You'll see this a lot. Bortimot inkludert. Very popular these days to have vacations with everything included. So it's written like that. Just look for that. That's a cool word. Circa with a C. And I had to double check that when I first saw it. I said, wait a minute, why isn't that a K or an S? I mean, no, it's incorporated into the Norwegian vocabulary. That, I believe, I mean, you'll see every now and then words just get taken in and incorporated. So, and it means just exactly what it does in English, circa. So keep going. Hennemot. This is more like upwards of, or towards. And that's how that's used. It's very subtle. It's just a kind of another way of saying it, but it's, you know, it really makes the sentence, it's more descriptive. So, henved, that's another one, nearly. So look for that one. For snart siden. When you see that, like for 5 år siden, that means 5 years ago. For snart 5 år siden, that means about 5 years ago. And snart usually means soon, so you can see how it has affected this, you know, sentence. That's a cool way to talk about something that happened a few years ago, because it almost never happens exactly, you know, 5 years ago. So that could be handy for you. Omlag, about. Nothing really much more about that I could find, omlag. But it's a case of getting close to another word. It's not one word, and so now it's turned into about. So I think of it as one word with a little space in between. Noenlunde, that one, somebody was telling me that's an old-fashioned word, but it still exists. I mean, go ahead and look around for it on the internet, and you'll see it's everywhere. And it kind of translates into more or less, or somewhat. That's the way that word is used. Noenlunde samma, about the same. So, and I don't think it's old-fashioned. I'm not sure. Maybe it is, but somebody told me that. Omkring, that one, when I first learned it, I learned it as around here, around an area. But if you see it next to a time period, then it means about that time. There could be other uses for it too. So there it is. Yet again, another word that I knew from before. I just didn't know it was used this way, and that's great because I already know that word. Now I can try it out in different ways. Regna, roughly, right around, roughly, and regna also means count, expect, calculation, calculate, and rain. So now that you know that, I don't know, for some reason I think that's good. It's not confusing. It helps. It's more confusing when you don't know that they mean both. It means both. So tilnærmet, virtually, and you'll see that a lot. Tilnærmet lik, virtually the same. Those two words together. All right. Nærmest, closest to. That's used that way. Ikke help. Now here are two words, help and ikke. They both affect other words around them. Other words that they're next to. In this case, they're together, and they mean not quite. So, and that is also a very handy, very handy little combination. That two-word combination to know and use. So if you learn the meaning of these words separately, you'll miss this, which is really important, especially if you're reading or listening to the radio and you catch somebody saying that, they're saying not quite. Okay, here are some of the sites where I do my research into this stuff and cross-reference everything, and they're very useful sites. So hope you've enjoyed this. Thanks for watching, and till next time, ha det bra.